Hello, welcome to my shed. This is my project here. Well, not as much of a project. I was very lucky to get this Commando. It was a person that I knew who had it for many years and decided to get rid of it, and thought I'd be a good candidate for it, and I agree with them. Can't wait to get started on it. As you can see, I've had the tank and side panels repainted. They come out really nice. The rest of the bike, it's all original, but I think it needs a good clean up, polish. And yet it hasn't run. I haven't run this bike, and it probably hasn't run for the past 15, maybe 20 years. Smarten it up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the wheels out. First of all, the back one. And luckily I know somebody who can redo these. So we'll do that. We'll get the wheel out. We're going to have a new rim on it and re-spoke it and polish the hub. So we're going to polishing the hub plates like down here, front forks, etc. Just bring it up to scratch a bit and make it really nice, and then see if we can get it started. Right, it's time to remove the rear wheel. I've loosened this already. It's the speedo cable from the drive there. Drop that down. I've loosened the wheel puller there, which pushes the wheel backwards and forwards onto the nut. The nut's now loosened, and if we go around the other side, let's have a look what we've got around here. Right, I've just removed the back brake linkage there. It goes onto the cable hooked on and through it, and I'll put these bits to one side so I don't lose them. So let's put those up there. Now again, the puller, I've loosened this off and I've loosened the nut, so we've now got a bit of play in the wheel. So all that's left is we've got this part here. I think this pushes in. So I'll grab another hand. Yeah, that'll push in and off. That's it. So that's quite a clever little idea. That's out of the way there. Just the linkage to remove on the chain down here, and then the wheel's ready to slide out. Right, so what I've done, I undid the shaft here, the axle, with a spacer, which then pulled that through the frame like so. And on the other side, you've got the dummy axle here and your brake plate, so that slides off. That's in very good condition. Again, a sign that it's a bit of a low mileage machine. Getting there, not looking too bad. Mustn't lose these bits here. There's a little shim there. Got to make a note of that. Photographs as you go along, so you don't forget where these bits go. So that's the wheel out, and while it's out, I'll clean everything on the inside here. Look, just rubbing my finger there. Look how nice that's coming up. Yeah, got all up inside the mud guard, get it all clean, checked over. What I did discover, this little pipe here runs to the chain somewhere from a breather or whatever from an engine, from the engine, which goes down, just lubricates the chain as need be. But while it's there, get it all nice and clean. I've started to get a few other parts for it, like rubber. I've got footrest rubber. The other side's worn out, so not very expensive. Got some nice new original Lucas indicators there, £35 a pair. I don't think that's bad at all. You can buy aftermarket ones, but I wanted to keep the Lucas design there, so you can see, keep it all original. And those pair will go on the front because they just deteriorated a bit, as you can see. You know, the chrome bit isn't bad, but you've got this flaking of the plastic on the chrome, so that'll be changed. So next stage is to get to this and start stripping it down and refurb the wheel, so I'll show you what I do there. Right, first job is to measure my offset. So off the sprocket face here, I measure down to the rim, 54mm. So when I rebuild it, that'll end up being the same again. Next thing, chomp out all the spokes. Now get rid of all the old offcuts and the bits of spokes. I'll be a bit careful because they're very sharp on the ends. But take all these out. It's a daily routine for me round here. So all the spokes removed. Now we've got this speedo drive here. It just pulls off there. We've got this nut here to remove, which is helping hold down this tin plate as well as these screws. So I was going to find a spanner to undo that. Take note, LH, left hand thread. If it hasn't got anything written on wheels, it's generally a normal right hand thread. But if it's going to be left hand, it's got an LH written there somewhere, so clean up and have a look. This is one of our tools in the workshop which John made for us, so I'm going to unscrew that. There we go, so let's start unscrewing that. That's it. I don't think it holds that tin plate on, from what I remember. I think I just pushed up against it. So next thing will be get these little screws undone. Right, I've just taken the last of the screws out of here with that little fine screwdriver. Lucky enough they've all come out. And I've tapped the disc around a bit to get away from the hole so I can get something in there like this to hopefully pry it up. It's going to be a tight fit in here. So it's trying to move. I don't want to be bending the aluminium up too much. Here we go, that's it. That's what I wanted to see. So that comes out there. Now let me just get the camera, show you in here. So very clean in there, isn't it? Now these holes here, often what the case is, people try and undo these little screws that hold the cover on and they snap off, and then you end up with a bit of screw stuck in here. Then what they try and do, they try and drill it, can't drill the on there, it's slipping, so they drill another hole next to it and try and put new screws in there. But a little tip, if that's broken off, or you've sheared off the head, or you ground it down level, get yourself a small punch, something not like this is just a spoke, to give you an idea, and punch them down. Because as you can see, that tube, that's drilled down quite a long way. So you can tap them. What they do, as they're on a spiral, it twists itself down as you tap it. You've only got to get down about 1/4 of an inch and you're ready for your new screws. So that's a bit of helpful information, hopefully. Right, next job is to get this sprocket off. It's on a cush drive here, which is 3 rubbers. Yeah, oh, that's come out a lot easier than I expected. There we go. Back around here. There you go. That's out. You see the cush rubbers here. I'll probably replace those because there's a bit of damage there. They're only going to be cheap. It's worth doing them at this stage. So they'll easily come out of there. But again, notice these are like a rectangular hole. Some of the Commandos, I think the early ones used the Dominator hub, which had a round hole. It's pretty similar size, but they've changed over to this. Right, so next job is get the bearings out. They feel good, so I won't be replacing those. Dust cover off there, bearings out, and this is going to be then sandblasted, soda blasted, and then polished. I've made a start on sandblasting. See around the edge here and inside there. Just give it a quick once over. You can see I've done a little bit on the edge there, just to give you an idea of how it's starting to come up quite quick already. It's just getting the grot off mainly. Get rid of all that and I can start polishing it. So what you can see here is it's a rough finish. You can see there, it's like a pimply finish, few marks. I'm then going around with a bit of coarse paper, like that, and then I'm starting to polish it up. Just tried a little bit out there so it goes. So we got a rough surface there. I'm just going around with this to take all the pimples out, all the imperfections,
It's hard work, you know. I've got a chap in Wales who does this for me, and he does an absolutely fantastic job, and I don't know how he keeps up with all the stuff he does. But I decided to have a go myself on some of these smaller bits that we have in the workshop, because everything's about time these days. People seem to want everything back so quickly that when you send stuff off, if you're good, then there's a long waiting list to get your bits back, which adds on to our time. Unfortunately, most people aren't that patient these days. Even people with the best will, they want their stuff done quickly, and when you turn the wheels after sort of trying as hard as you can to get them done quick for them, they then tell you the engine's completely in bits anyway, and they're only halfway through the restoration, which they probably will never finish. So there you go. And it gives you an idea how it's starting to come up there. I'm just starting to lose the pimples there. We have got fine scratches, but once I start polishing, I'll lose those. So we've gone from this, which you can see the sand casting on it, to this. It's not looking bad, is it? So I've just got to do that side and then do something with the inside there. Gives you the general idea. Right, so I've put the first few spokes in just to check out the lengths are good. Now I've got it all written down for commandos, we've done loads in the past, but these spokes are a bit short, a bit longer this side and shorter the other side because of the offset on the hub. So I've put them in there just to get the idea of the pattern that we're going with. The next thing is to put all the inner spokes in. So you do all the inner lacing first, otherwise you can't get your spokes over the outer laced spokes. I'll show you that in a minute. That's the wheel trued up. Looking a bit better than the old one. In the next episode, we see the forks being removed and being worked on and polished, and a lot of hassle with the wiring. Look at that. Compared to what was there, these old things looked awful. If you paint them up, you never get that sort of stain. So this here, you can see there's a spacer behind, and this just screws in. Now for the fun bit, all the electrics or all the wiring is in a bit of a mess. So there's a bit of before and after. So both in this sort of state here, which isn't too bad. That's it for now. Keep them rolling, folks.